I remember her like just pulling me aside and telling me, no, this is amazing, your paper was really good, or something like that.
Wow.
Along those lines. But I do remember it was the first, I think, set of encouragement that I got from like an educator.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Cooper, Assistant Superintendent of St. Louis Park Schools, and I'm here with St. Louis Park alumni, former member of the St. Louis Park High School Band, former Youth Data Analyst intern, and current student here at the University of Minnesota. I'm here with Amira Abdirahman. How are you today?
Pretty good, how are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm here with you. I'm here at the University of Minnesota, and I'm here to get to know you, and so the whole world can get to know all the things that you've done and things that you're doing today. But to first kick us off here is tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about, where you grew up, and tell us about your family.
Yeah, sure. Okay, my name's Amira. I graduated from Park in 2023. I've been at the U since that fall. I actually grew up in Utah. I was born there. My parents came from Somalia. And then, they ended up in like Utah at first. And then we moved to Minnesota when I was about 11 years old. I was down in like that Burnsville, Lakeville area for a little bit. Okay. And then when I was in 6th grade, I came up to SLP and I was there since. I have 4 siblings. I'm the oldest of 5. So I live with them, and I have my grandma at home with me too. My family are pretty much like everything to me, and they definitely I think it's a special thing because I wouldn't be like half of the person that I am without them, especially considering the past couple years and growing into an adult. I feel like they've been with me since day one, obviously, so I definitely really appreciate them.
Okay, so you got 4 of the siblings, and you're the first one to go to college here. What are the ages of your other siblings, and are they also in St. Louis Park schools too?
Yeah, so we moved out of SLP my junior year. I stayed because I'd been there for a minute, but the rest of my siblings did move. I have a brother that's now 18. He just started college. He's over at MCTC. And then I have a sister that's a senior. And she's getting ready, thinking about college and stuff like that. I have another sister who is 14 and she just started high school, so I think, and then I have a little brother that is 8 years old. He's in the 3rd grade, so just like kind of watching their progression and stuff like that, I think has been pretty awesome.
Well, that's pretty awesome. That means you set the stage, and so that's pretty awesome that once again you've got your siblings going to college. And so that's an awesome accomplishment. So congratulations there. We got to recognize that.
Yeah, thank you.
So now your time in SLP. So you started in middle school.
I did, yeah.
Okay, do you remember your principal or any teachers that really got you connected? Because you were new. You didn't go through elementary.
That's right, yeah. I think that was one of the first things that I noticed at SLP. I think specifically for that district, it was probably the first time at school ever that I felt super connected to community there. My principal, his name is fading from my mind right now, but I do remember certain, I'll try to bring it back at that time. But I do remember several teachers that really definitely made that community for me.
Who were some of those teachers, and if you can remember their names, and what was it special about them?
I'll start with my middle school Model UN. She had a Model UN class. Her name is Miss Rosen.
Okay.
This was a while back, but she definitely made me feel, I think, a lot more comfortable just being in a new, first of all, a new state, but then also just a new community and environment. I feel like SLP was just a small pocket of something else, and coming in, everybody knew everybody, so I didn't really know what to think. And then I think my ability to really learn and grow too. I was questioning my ability to do certain things, and I have a story about her. I feel like I've told it before, but I will always remember this. In that class, we were required to write things called position papers, and we'd represent a country. And, we all get together, and we'd give our position on a certain global issue. And I don't remember what country I was representing, but I do remember I was oh man, this is hard. And I think I made a comment or something like that when I like turned it in. I was like, I don't really know about this. And she I remember her like just pulling me aside and telling me, no, this is amazing. Your paper was really good, or something like that.
Wow.
Along those lines. But I do remember it was the first, I think, set of encouragement that I got from like an educator.
Okay.
And it was, you know, I was like 11 years old. So I, you know, didn't really have like the best like sense of self yet because I was like a kid.
Yeah.
So I think hearing that, it definitely did make things a lot easier. And then in addition to that too, then it made me more passionate about the subject, and I continued, I think, taking that class because you could take it multiple years. So I took it all throughout. Yeah, and I developed a pretty good relationship with her. And then when I moved to high school, like I didn't really see her as much, but yeah, I still stayed pretty passionate about Model UN. I started a club there, like at the high school. I don't know if it's still going or anything like that, but Youth in Government and Model United Nations, like that in part was started like all because of like my relationship to the like the event and activity, and that was sparked in like a middle school classroom. So
that shows you that words are powerful.
Yeah, they're super powerful.
So that teacher said something and it inspired you to become an active, you know, and to be active in different things, start groups. How was that experience when you started that group? And what was the name of the group again?
Youth in Government.
Youth in Government. So how was that experience?
Well, I do remember it taking a lot. I did it my senior year, and I did it with 2 other classmates. And I mean, like, obviously had no experience doing that or like getting any of that sort of thing off of the ground. It's part of like a statewide initiative to get young people more like civically engaged and stuff like that. So there's a conference that people go to, or students go to, I think in the wintertime, and they go to the state capitol and they get to present their, you know, like they get to act as state representatives and, you know, pick real world issues to write resolutions on. And it's a really cool thing. But SLP didn't have a delegation. So when we started it, we had a lot of work to do, getting it off the ground, like getting funding, and then also just, you know, getting people interested in students like wanting to join. It definitely did take a lot of commitment, and then also like we needed somebody that was, you know, like a teacher to say yes to us in the first place. So I guess that brings me to like high school now, but Miss Emma, I do remember her. I never even officially had her as a teacher, but she was somebody that through that experience, and then also I ended up like TAing for her just because I ended up, you know, developing a relationship with her and like getting to know her so well.
Now TAing, explain that to in case people was listening.
Oh, sorry, yeah, teacher's assistant.
Okay, you're the teacher assistant. Okay.
Yeah, just helping them with whatever they need, I guess, in the classroom. Because it was senior year, and I think I had a study hall that was just open, so that's where I was. But yeah, I think her encouragement and guidance throughout the entire process definitely made things easier. And then I think seeing the amount of people like kind of grow and then get interested in it, I think was really cool. I do remember going to visit, I think the next year, and like the membership or the people that were interested, I think we took like 25 kids to the Capitol in 2023, and then I went into the room to go see like what was going on and just like say hi and stuff like that, and there were 50 kids in the room easily. So it was. So
how does that make you feel?
It made me feel awesome that could continue, even though the 3 of us that were seniors that started that thing now had like moved on. And I think that it definitely made that like time commitment worth it. And it was really cool, and it definitely made me feel excited for kind of the future, to watch it grow and stuff like that. So yeah, it was surreal. I definitely didn't believe it. I kind of walked into the room and I was like, whoa.
It's once again, a seed was planted, you know, a word was planted in you that went on to start this program.
Right.
25 students by the time you started it.
Yeah.
And you came back and you walked into the room, it was like 50
It
students.
doubled, yeah. It was.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Once again, you got to be, your mom, your family, dad has to be so proud.
Yeah, thank you.
Of the things that you've accomplished and still accomplishing.
So. Yeah.
So that got you kind of into St. Louis Park. It made you feel connected. But you was also part of the band, right?
I definitely was, yeah.
So talk about band.
Yeah. And like when you said that, I was like, oh wait, how did he know I was in band? But you know,
I do my research.
Yeah, did your research? Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm glad you asked because that was also like a really big part of like who I was. I started to play the flute like in Lakeville. That's like where I was, you know, before for a short time. And I joined it because I needed a music requirement, or I had a music requirement I had to fill, and I was like, you know what, all right, I'll try it. And then I came to SLP, and I want to say specifically at the high school too. I mean, like for all of the from like 5th grade, I think is when they start band. Through 12th grade, I mean, it's super like integrated, and it's like definitely a community. But at the high school level specifically, I don't think I could pick a better place for like community to be built and for you know, like those special relationships to be created and continued. And my band teacher at the time, Mr. Schmitz, he was probably one of the nicest and, you know, I think most affirming individuals that I've ever come across. Like, and that just means like as a person, like and then as an educator too, he was just so amazing. I remember he had this phrase, and it was like, building better people through music. And I think that was so interesting because when we come to school, I feel like, and you know, in college too, this is like continued. I feel like sometimes like it's very focused on this is what you have to do, this is what you have to get done, all of that. But I felt that in his classroom, like that started to expose me to, oh, there are other parts of myself that I like don't have to leave at the door, that I can kind of bring. And I think he was very focused on celebrating us as individuals and as people that are growing and developing.
So let's talk about what you may felt like you may have to leave at the door. What were some of those things?
It was just like not really feeling like included as much. I think, you know, even going as far as like asking somebody how their day was like can make a huge difference. But I mean, like I'll use an example. Like in some classes, sometimes I feel like it's very much about, well, I don't really know how this connects to my personal life. I'm sitting here, I'm like doing equations, I'm doing, you know, certain things, like doing a worksheet. I don't really know how this applies to like my personal life, but there are certain things like, you know, maybe he'd ask about like our family, or he'd ask, you know, how things are going, or what we like to do for fun, or, you know, just things like that, or, you know, and then this is because this is somebody that I had over 4 years instead of just 1. It was a lot more focused on, okay, this is a relationship that can build. He knew a lot about, you know, me personally. He knew my family. Spent a lot of time, like, just there in general. And then, like, he definitely, in what he did too, we did have pieces that we played and stuff like that, you know, he had chosen, but then he also asked us like what we, you know, were interested in,
so
and kind of brought, he had our voice in the room, and he definitely brought that in. And then definitely also not even just facilitated those relationships between like us, but then also between like students and like each other. So I got to know a lot of the other kids that, you know, were with me. And by that last concert, I was like, I kind of like looked at them and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to like leave these guys. They definitely meant like, and they still do mean a lot to me, even if everybody has gone their separate ways. So
well, I mean, we always hear that in education, it's so important. Relationships are so important.
For sure.
And so for you, that's one of the biggest things for me as an educator, and my time as a teacher or principal, is I wanted to make sure every student, as they came into my classroom, as they came into my building, that they could show up who they were.
For sure.
And not say, oh, I got to leave this here, or I got to hide this, or wow, my principal, my teacher, or my educator cares about me. And so that's what's really important. So I'm glad you shared that. Now, what instrument did you play? You said the flute?
Yeah, and then I really wanted to be in the jazz band. So like senior year, I like learned the bass guitar because I couldn't play the flute. So I still play like both, but I can't do it like now at the U. I might senior year when things like free up a little bit, but I can't right now. But I'd still do in my personal life, kind of keep music in my life that way.
I wish you would have had your guitar. I would have had you do a solo now. Well, so you was part of band, sure. And all of that, but you also were a part of basketball, right?
Oh no, that wasn't at SLP.
But you played basketball.
For a little bit, yeah.
And you love, I hear, basketball, the WNBA.
How'd you know that?
I do my research, okay?
Wow, yeah. That is true. I do love basketball. Yeah.
So you tell about a story. Okay, so you love WNBA
Yeah.
and you have watch parties, right?
Did you talk to Dr. Lafayette? I feel like.
Well, we'll get to Dr. Lafayette
Okay.
in
Okay.
a
Okay.
second
All right.
here.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
And
I
what
try
do
to
you
go to
do
games.
special at these watch parties? Don't you make something?
Yeah, I bake cupcakes, or my friends and I like bake cupcakes like occasionally.
With the names right players?
We have like little like sticks with like kind of like the players like headshots. And we kind of kept them as like souvenirs. It was like a really fun moment. I'm a really big supporter of the Minnesota Lynx too. So
Okay.
I'm using this opportunity to say go Lynx.
That's right. Go
Yeah,
Lynx. I
for
think
sure.
they won game 1, right?
They did. Yeah, I was there with my dad.
You was okay.
Yeah.
Did they win game 2?
I want to say it's Friday.
Okay, Friday.
Tomorrow? Tonight?
So-
Tonight, I know the Aces and like, I think they split it up.
Because the Lynx were best team in the league.
And they've been the best team in the league too, like this entire time.
So who's
it's
your
pretty...
favorite WNBA player?
Of all time?
Of all time.
I have to go with Maya Moore. Like, I know she's retired. But the way that she came in and I know her career wasn't as long as, you know, we would have like wanted it to be, but
Yeah.
the way that she came in, established, I'm here to compete, I'm here to win, and did that. And then also, I think after her career too, kind of took a step back and, you know, fought for what she believed in.
Yeah.
I thought was really huge. She's a huge role model to me.
Oh yeah, I see the connection.
Yeah. So it's really cool. She's definitely like one of my favorite players. Currently, I have to go with Nafisa Collier.
Oh, she's good.
She's amazing.
She's good too. See, I'm old school, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to Cheryl Miller back in the
Yeah.
USC days. She didn't get a chance to play in the
Oh,
WNBA. Do you remember Cynthia Cooper?
Yes,
With
yeah.
with Houston Comets, and then Cheryl Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops.
She had her own shoes.
She had her own.
So you brought up Dr. Lafayette.
Yeah,
Now, Dr. Lafayette, you was a part of the Youth Data Analyst intern.
I was. Yeah.
So how did you get involved in that, and how was that experience?
Yeah, so when I was a junior in high school, I was on a superintendent's advisory committee, and they had a separate, I think they had a strategic plan meeting, and
Okay.
Dr. Lafayette was there, and she was presenting at that meeting, and she talked about YDA, and I did it in 2022. So there were 2 cohorts that went before me, and she was explaining their research and, you know, what the ideology behind it, and, you know, how the program had gone so far, what they were hoping to do in the future. And I sat there and I was like, I think this is something that I have to be a part of. So I was able to talk to her a little bit more in detail after the event had ended about YDA and again, what they stand for and how best I could, you know, help and be involved. And yeah, that summer I was able to spend it with her, Dr. Abigail Rambalski, who is at CEHD over here at the U, and then a couple of other students too. And we were there for 9 weeks, and we looked into investigating what the hopes and the dreams were of SLP's community. And that was definitely, I think, probably one of the most like formative experiences that I've had at SLP. It meant so much to me that, you know, not only like could our voices be heard as students, especially as the ones like going through the experience, but then also like let's hand off the mic to people that also like may not have been heard otherwise. So it was a really great opportunity to do that. And then the project itself was focused on what students, what parents, what families, what they wanted out of the district. And then so being able to do that, and then also take that research and take that data and put that into action, and get recommendations there was really cool. And then it meant so much to me, that experience, that again, relationships, I keep coming back to them, they're such a huge thing, but I kept in touch with Dr. Lafayette throughout, and then same thing with Dr. Rambalski, and then they asked me this past summer, when I wasn't at work or at school, like to come back and, you know, help like the current cohort of students that were also doing their project as a college student. And at first I was like kind of taken aback because the college students that helped us seemed so much older when I was younger.
It always feels like that.
Yeah, it always feels like that. I was like, am I actually like that that old, but it was a really cool experience to kind of come back. I think SLP was very, I think it was huge in like my formative years, and then also like getting me to where I am now and what I'm doing now. And especially since I don't have siblings in a district anymore and I don't live in SLP anymore, like it was a great way to kind of come back and serve. And I also think that they taught me a lot. And when I say they, I mean especially like the students that are there. They're so brilliant. And I feel like when we were told that when I was told that at their age, it was kind of like, oh, they have to say that moment. But I think being on the other side and really witnessing what they have to say and hearing the amazing things that they have to talk about and the experiences that they bring, I have no words for it other than this is brilliance and this is like what we are at our best. Like it's an amazing thing.
You all are so brilliant. When this is my first year in St. Louis Park, and I had the opportunity to visit the youth data analyst interns over the summer, and then seeing the presentation at the LEAD conference here at the University of Minnesota, and then coming back for the students that are juniors and seniors, and I might have even been a sophomore in the group.
Yeah, there were several incoming sophomores in that group. Yeah,
in that group, to be able to present in front of leaders in the district about their findings. That is, I've never seen that anywhere else in any other district I've been in. I'm so impressed by that, because that's truly honoring the student voice that we have here with our students. And what you all say, don't think it just goes out the window. As you saw, there's records from this year. This is what the students found. This is what the youth data analysts found. And those things are placed into the school's continuous improvement plans. And that's just so awesome that takes place. So for me, that has been amazing to see. And for you, you've had another full circle moment, because you had your youth group, and then you come back and then youth data analyst interns and come back and see that. And you see another area where you made a mark. Look at you. You're just making history everywhere you go. And as we think about history, and you think about here in college, you've been accepted to med school, right?
Conditionally, but
Don't act shy about it, okay? You got
So I'm part of a joint admissions program here called the BAMD program, and basically when I committed to the U, I also committed to the U's med school. So basically when I graduate with my bachelor's degree in 2027, and I complete some other requirements, I will be going to the U's medical school, and I'll be there. So that definitely has been surreal and my dream. And I think that when things get hard, because they do get hard, but when they do, like, I think back to myself like 2 years ago, and I'm like, I know she would not believe where she is right now. So.
And you talked about when you first came to Minnesota, and it all started once again with a seed. And how that seed got planted and look to where you're at today. You can do this mentality. You can do it. So if that's anything I can tell any educator or anybody out there, words have power.
They do.
So we know you're going to med school. It's going to happen. Put it out there. It's going to happen. You're going to get everything done. But you also want to be an RA, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the hope. That's the hope.
Hope. You wonder where I got all this info from.
I was like, where did you get this? I think it's just, I think what I realized about myself over the years is that I'm definitely somebody that values like trust building and relationship building. And I think that that's definitely, especially since going to like such a big school, is like a kind of an issue. Or not an issue, but I think it's kind of a bit harder to develop those kinds of things when you're not in like SLP anymore, where it's like a little bit smaller. You're kind of now in classes with like 300 people, kind of doing things, and so I thought about like considering like being an RA to like help foster that and facilitate that, and then also I definitely had a lot of questions my freshman year, and things were beyond confusing.
So you had an RA that was really helpful, and
I actually didn't live on campus, so that's the thing. So
this would be your chance to
Yeah, that too, and also like just kind of immerse myself a bit more on campus. So that's like another reason behind it.
I was an RA, so that's
Oh,
why
cool.
I remember.
Yeah.
I was an RA for a few years in college.
Yeah.
It is such a great experience because you're able, like you said, to be able to share what you know,
Right.
and build those relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they still do this, but as an RA, I had to put on programs. So I had to do like 2
Yeah.
programs. You still got to do that?
Yeah.
So with everything that you do and the things that you've done, man, just to think about the continuous impact you can have on campus here.
Yeah.
And no doubt about it, you already made an impact because I just know who you are. So as we go back and look at high school, what is something you would tell your high school self now that you're sitting here, starting in your 3rd year here
Yeah.
at the University of Minnesota? What would you go back and tell your high school self?
I'd say be present. I think I spent a lot of time worrying about the future and worrying about whether I was good enough to get this opportunity or whether I was, good enough to do that. And I think that high school me definitely would have appreciated like just being able to step back and realize where I've come and how far I've come, and that, all like where I am now, it's because of all of like the hard work that I've put in, and all the people that have like uplifted me since, and that they've got me too.
Yeah.
If things don't work out the way that they're planned,
They will.
they will. They will. So I think just hearing that it'll all work out and that I should like stay in the present definitely
Yes.
would be helpful. And I did hear that a lot too, not just from like my family, but again like the support network that I did have at SLP, especially some of my teachers. Even like applying to the program that I'm in now, like I do remember I think it was a free period, and I was in my psychology teacher's room, and I was like, it was after the interview, and I was like waiting to hear back, and I was, kind of freaking out. I was like, well, I said that, I said this during my interview, and I don't really know if I'm going to get in because of it, and all of the things that I was like worrying about. And he kind of, had me step back, and he was like, you did what you could control.
Yeah.
Now enjoy being done with college applications and done with that entire experience, and enjoy the rest of the time that you do have, and enjoy it with your friends and your family.